Hey there, Saint Doom here with some black-red emerge. This hand needs lands bad. I have 22 more lands in the deck, and I have 4 Revelers, which can help dig me to even more lands. I think this hand's fine as long as I hit one more land. Because I have Axe and Bone Crusher. I am going to play the Blood Crypt tapped, because even if I'm playing against an aggro deck, I think I still want to preserve the 2 life rather than just have an Axe for their turn 1 play. Opponent mulls to 6, which is a perfect time for me to sip some coffee. It's really bright right now. Man, this is the 11 a.m. sun. My office window faces the south side of the world. And Bone Crusher Giant's actually a card that has extremely impressed me. Like, that card has just been absolutely impressive almost every single time I'm able to play it. It just doesn't look great, but it's crushing. I might even say it's bone crushing. Because I was playing Wild Slash for a while, but I think the Stomp is just almost better to begin with, and having that free second spell is huge. Yep. Opponent took one of the spells we could actually cast from our hand. And unfortunately, I do not draw a land, so we are stuck in land purgatory right now, with 2 emerge cards stuck in our hand. Okay. Yikes. I think I'm kind of locked into doing this now. I think I have to buy back my Bone Crusher and kill the Sorin. So now if I happen to draw a land that I can non-come into play tap land, I can play the Bone Crusher Giant and buy back the Phoenix in the same turn. Okay. Playing against mono black here. Kozilek's Return is actually a decent line if that's what my entire next turn is going to be. It's a weird little play pattern I kind of bump into with this deck. So because of the interaction with Kozilek's Return and the Eldrazi, what I could have done is just taken this turn off, cast the Kozilek's Return, killed their dudes, or killed this one dude, and then kind of passed the turn. And then next turn, Bone Crusher Giant, and then the next turn, Abundant Mod wiped their board. I just don't know if I have time for that with my opponent's aggro here. I don't think I'm going to do this. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm 1 mana short of returning and mind-bendering. Can I survive? Can I survive? So I can block the Dusk Legion Zealot with the Bone Crusher's Giant, right? And I just don't survive. So I think I need to cast the Abundant Maw right now, which is super painful. The Mindbender is also a possibility just because it is also a decent body. Yeah, I think it's Mindbender first. And then if I draw a land, I can do the Kozilek's Return trick. So 3, 4, 5, 6. I should attack first. No, I should not. It's weird, it doesn't show up as the, doesn't keep track of that for you. So if I can draw like a basic land next turn, or any non-come into play tap land, I actually think I can come back from this. Yep, because I need the return Kozilek's Return second mode to really catch up here. Okay. Yeah, my opponent's just gonna walk right into it if I can do it. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Actually, I could always just emerge the Mindbender, because it's gonna die anyway. Yep. So I think I'm locked into that, I think. So I have to block here. I want the Mindbender to survive so then I can Kozilek's Return for everything. Let's block here. If I block here, I'll go down to 1, and then I'll go up to 4 off of the Maw. I don't think I care if my opponent has that Mutavault in play. Okay. So let's Kozilek's Return. And let's Abundant Maw. And this should be able to push us ahead here. We have a blocker from Mutavault. Opponent's got 4 cards in hand, but they're at 1 life. So we know about 1 Fatal Push. And they've drawn a ton of cards. Yep. So that was a really cool interaction there, able to let us take over the game. Against a creature deck, I think Kalidas is pretty good. Mindbender is a little underwhelming. K-Command, Kozilek's Return, Fatal Push, all really good cards. Brutality might not be as good with how big our opponent's creatures get. I do like Murderous Rider as a way to deal with their Sorin. Glorybringer's good. Lightning Axe is good for the size. So mono black, they could be running ley lines, which could hurt me a little bit here to deal with my phoenixes. I'm gonna try something like that. Actually, Bone Crusher Giant is just like too good, especially. I think I want to try something like that then. Thoughtseize seems really strong, but this is functionally an aggro deck I'm playing against. The 2-life can be a liability. Abundant Maw just absolutely took over that game. Absolutely took it over. Being able to emerge my own Distended Mindbender, which was going to die anyway. I'm glad I saw that line. It's not something I usually think about, like, oh, let me get rid of my 5/5 to put a 6/4 in play. But it was less about the 6/4 and more just about getting that free Kozilek's Return trigger. I've had some people recommend that I've looked at this list some more Fatal Pushes, but Fatal Push I feel like is pretty bad in the Pioneer format without fetch lands. The converted mana cost 1 or 2 restriction is a lot. If it was 4 or less, it'd be absolutely too good. That's why the revolt restriction is there. But in Pioneer, when you can't trigger that effectively, it can be a pretty big liability. This hand is pretty bad. It's slow. I think I'm still gonna keep this though. I have all my lands. I have my like the best card I have in this matchup. My opponent's probably gonna Thoughtseize me on 1 anyway, so I'd rather just have a functional hand. It's a really good draw. Yeah, let's just get rid of the Cletus. Do they have Fatal Push? Like, I can just get blown out here. I still think it's worth it. I'm up a game. If I can kill this Dusk Legion Zealot, I can get pretty far ahead. I have a bunch of lands already in my hand. This is the reason I played the Mutavault. Okay. So we ate the Fatal Push. We drew Stomp. I still think that was the right line. I took a Fatal Push out of my opponent's hand. Yeah, I'll just take 1. Doesn't do much here. And that's what I want to stomp. Do I want to stomp it, or do I want to Kozilek's Return it? I think Kozilek's Return is just the superior option here. So, feels weird, I'm just going to pass. I have to do this now before my opponent can pump it. And next turn I get to play a Phoenix, which they can swift end, but they're going to need 2 removal spells, and I already got rid of that Fatal Push, so they kind of are a little bit less powerful there. Okay. That's fine. Do they have another removal spell is the real question here. There's my opponent's Thoughtseize. Lightning Axe is probably the card they need to take because they can deal with either of these cards. Interesting. Opponent's holding up that 3 mana, so my Kozilek's Return can't kill that Knight. Them not taking the Kozilek's Return means they're kind of locked into holding up 3 mana for an awkward amount of time this game. I've noted they only have 1 card in hand, and then they have that Murderous Rider. I think what I want to do is, so if it gets +3/+3, it's an X4. I think I want a Lightning Axe, pitch the Flame Wake, buy back the Phoenix, and kind of pass turn from there. And swing for 6. Next turn I can Lightning Axe that Etherborn. So they're going to go to 15. They can put me down to 5 if they attack with the Mutavault. Okay, no Mutavault for them. If I draw an emerged creature, this game could be over pretty quick. Three, 1, 2. So I can go to 5, use Lochthwain, and then go to 2. That doesn't seem great. I think I'm locked into blocking with my Rekindling Phoenix here, which is a little unfortunate. Okay, not bad. So I can't Lightning Axe and Kozilek's Return because I played the land, but I think I needed to play the land to kind of progress my mana. Yikes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think I need to Lightning Axe here. Killing the Death Toucher. You got 2 blockers to block the Mutavault and to block the Gray Merchant, and drawing those 3 cards wasn't actually super helpful because Murderous Rider is a little bit scary here. Opponent, I feel like the opponent's way ahead here. Okay. That's fine. My Reveler basically did the same thing your champion just did, so except I didn't have to lose life. So next turn, unless I draw something good, I'm going to be... I don't even know if I can Murderous Rider here. Let's block here and here. Go to 1. Okay. Don't love that. Good news is if my opponent does attack here, I actually get to have a favorable interaction there. Unfortunately, my Kozilek's Return doesn't do a ton right here, with my opponent having big creatures. Yep. Being at 1 life means my castle doesn't do as much as my opponent's does. I do think I'm going to use a Kozilek's Return at least to kill this knight here while my opponent's tapped out. Again, if they attack, I actually get some favorable blocks here because of my Rekindling Phoenix being able to be by itself back. Unless my opponent has exactly a Fatal Push in hand, I don't think they should attack. And I have to block anyway, so it's not like they're baiting me. Like, if they have the Fatal Push and be like, oh, I'm going to trick them, like, I have to block anyway, so there's no trickery here. With that on the stack, right now I think I want to Kozilek's Return, which will wipe the entire board. And the next turn I get to punch my opponent in the face a little bit. Yep, okay. So their last card was exactly Fatal Push, which was the worst thing I could have seen. Oh, actually, yeah, it's fine. No Mutavaults mean I'm not in trouble here. So, draw a card, lose life equal to the number of cards in your hand. I can do this once because I drew a Thoughtseize. That stinks. There we go. Opponent held 3 mana up and they have 1 card in hand, but they drew it off of the Lochthwain, so don't really know what it is. All I know is I'm effectively F6'd here. Mutavault's not a bad draw for them. Means I have to hold back. Well, not anymore, because I just went to 6. That was a silly, silly line, right? Unless you have a removal spell, that was just a silly spot to put yourself in. Because if they hadn't done that, then I would have had to attack only with the Flamewake Phoenix and keep the Rekindling Phoenix back to block the Mutavault. But, alright, there we go. I'll see you in the next one.